All right, Shalom. First and foremost, before I begin this lesson, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Barcha HaKodash. The honors go out to the apostles, elders, great millstone, Haru, and teach well. Shalom, Barakim to you, brothers and sisters out there. This is Brother Malachi from the Great Millstone Nashville Camp. And Lord, knowing that this lesson is edifying to the hopeful elect. Right, I just wanted to read this verse and just kind of go from here. Just a quick lesson going into how the Lord is only dealing with Israel. How Israel is the chosen people of the Lord and nobody else. All right, because there's a total of 18 nations on the earth, and the Lord is only dealing with the nation Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. All right, and yes, we understand that there will be Israelites that will come looking like the other nations, just as there can be heathens, especially Edomites, that look, like typical Jake. You have Edomites walking the earth right now that look so-called black. Because it's not about your appearance, but it's about your father's lineage, which we don't have the records, so we go off of the spirit. All right, Romans 8:16. But let me get this. Well, actually, hold on. Second Esdras chapter 5. In verse, I'm going to start at 27. It says, and among all the multitudes of people, thou hast gotten thee one people. And unto this people, whom thou lovest, thou gavest a law that is approved of all. Which when you go through this, it's the Lord saying how he has a favorite of everything. See? And the Lord has a favorite people, which are the Israelites. So, this verse right here, along with a few others I'm going to grab, should start to raise some eyebrows. Maybe the Lord isn't dealing with all nations. Maybe the Lord doesn't care about everybody the same. Which would bring into question, if the Lord don't care about the other nations, and according to Malachi, which is also reiterated in Romans, the Lord hates Esau. He hates the Edomites. Why would Yahushua die for all nations? And why would salvation include all nations? Which salvation goes into being saved from your enemies. Being saved from those around you that persecute you. Who's persecuting the Edomites? Who's even persecuting the other nations right now? Christianity is a religion that was started by Esau Edom to deceive. And we can see that it's done that. It's done plenty of that. And then even look at how Christianity became widespread. Through the sword, right? Whose blessing was the sword? Esau Edom. Right, but it says, among all the multitudes of people, thou hast gotten thee one people. Who is that? What people is that? We should know. You should know. The main nation throughout the whole Bible, the nation of Israel. The nation which Yahushua even came from. He came from the tribe of Judah, which is one of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9. It says, I'm getting tired. It says, but ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, an holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should shew forth the praise of him who hath called you out of darkness into his marvelous light, which is talking about this truth. Right? We've been called, out of the world, taken out of the world, and brought into this ministry. Right? But it said, you're chosen. Right? You're holy. You're peculiar. Which holy means Kodash in the Hebrew, which means separate. Right? Tells in Leviticus how the Lord severed Israel from the nations. But let me get this word, etymology rather, for peculiar. It says belonging exclusively to one person, of one's own property, private property. All right, but it said belonging exclusively to one person. That sounds possessive, does it not? The Lord is letting you know that the Israelites, they're my people. I own them. Right, which is why Ecclesiastes 12 and 13 tells us to fear God and keep his commandments, for this the whole duty of man. This isn't the whole duty of every man. It's the whole duty of the Israelite man. We are to serve Yahweh B'Shem El Shai. It's not a marvel when one of these other nations, one of these heathens just eats some random abominable thing or just does some outlandish stuff. It's not really too surprising because they weren't given the law, statutes, and commandments because the Lord doesn't care about them. It's like that situation where, you try to ask to stay outside, or go sleep over at somebody's house or do this or do that. No, you can't do that. Well, Henry's doing that. Well, that ain't my kid. That's how it is with the Lord. Well, look what he's eating. Well, look what he's doing. He's wearing that. She's saying that. Okay, well, those aren't my people. I'm not dealing with them. They don't live under my roof. Right? And when you're a child and you're under the roof of your parent, you're their possession. All right, like it says right here, belonging exclusively to one person. Who do we belong to? The Lord. Right? Is not our name Yasher Allah, which means he is a prince of the power? A prince is what? The son of a king. Put two and two together. That's why we have responsibilities to uphold. And a lot of our people, they hate responsibility, when it all boils down. And Jake wants the glory, but Jake don't want the suffering. Jake wants the glory, but doesn't want the responsibility, the accountability. Look, man, if you want to be a nation of kings and priests, you got to be willing to suffer. You got to be willing to sacrifice. You got to be willing to uphold the standard that the Lord has placed. If not, you're going to be punished. As we already are, but, especially going forward, you 2/3 here in America and the rebels across the globe, you're going to be punished. All right, Amos chapter 3, verse 1, it says, hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth, therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. So that's why we get punished. That's why we're in slavery. That's why we have to deal with the Deuteronomy 28, verse 15 on down, the curses. Because of our iniquity, all right? Because we went off, we worshipped idols, we followed the ways of the heathen, which the Lord told us not to do. Jeremiah 10 and 2. You see? Micah 7 and 9. We need to bear the indignation of the Lord because we have sinned against him. But understand that Israel, first of all, we're not going to be in a low state forever. That's in Sirach 2. The Lord is going to lift us out of this. But we have to cleave back onto Yahweh B'Shem El Shai, like it says in Baruch. As it was your mind to go astray from the Lord, so be in return, seek him 10 times more. Seek the Lord, man. Serve the Lord. Don't worry about nothing else. And the aspect of that. Take care of, your business. But just focus on Yahweh B'Shem El Shai. All right, but just remember, as the chosen people, man, if you want all this glory, if you want to be joint heirs with Yahweh Shai, speaking to you men, out there that are doing the work. If you want to be joint heirs with Yahweh Shai, you can't just be joint heirs in glory. You got to be joint heirs in suffering. So get ready to suffer more and more. See? Get ready to sacrifice more and more. Get ready to be demonized. Get ready to be persecuted. Get ready to be, uncomfortable. Just prepare your mind. Gird up your loins. Leave off the weak mortal nature. You're not a heathen, man. You're an Israelite. So there's a standard that comes with that. And either you're going to meet the requirements of that standard, or the Lord is going to punish you. You see? Let me get this as well. Baruch chapter 4, verse 1 to 4. Well, actually, I'll get down. I'll read verse down to 6. It says, "This is the book of the commandments of God and the law that endure forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die." It's plain. "Turn thee, O Jacob, and take hold of it. Walk in the presence of the light thereof, that thou mayest be illuminated. Give not thine honor to another, nor the things that are profitable unto thee to a strange nation. O Israel, happy are we, for things that are pleasing to God are made known unto us. Be of good cheer, my people, the memorial of Israel. You were sold to the nations not for your destruction, but because ye moved God to wrath, ye were delivered unto the enemy." So, once again, we are here because of our own faults. Because we went off and wanted to continue to follow the ways of wickedness, and that's not the way. The things that are pleasing unto the Lord are made known unto us, not unto the other nations, unto us, not unto Esau. All right, it tells us in Thessalonians that Esau is the man that opposes the Most High. So we're not to oppose the Most High. We're supposed to be the polar opposite of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, right? We don't want to be the John 8:44, as you have your father the devil. We don't want to be that. So what do we need to do? Apply the scriptures, James 1:22. Serve the Lord. All right, please him, seek to please him. Live by that standard that he has set to the best of our ability. Rehearse the righteous acts. All right, so Lord, when that this lesson was edifying, before I close, I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Bashem El Shai, Bashem Rechak Wadash, the honors the Apostle Elsgard Millstone. Shalom.